the house because the kids hang out in my house. You know, my daughter brings her friends over. So what I've done is I buy more. So like I don't ever think like it's taken the power away from it. Like it's there. It's just there. So instead of buying like they like the nacho chips or like the bakes, whatever, I keep so much of it that I don't want it anymore. You know, I took the power away from it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm not like thinking about it 24/7 where if I knew there was one bag and the kids were going to eat it, I better get some before the kids eat it. So now the power, and
Taken away.
yeah, and I love crunchy, snacky foods.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to make sure that there's so much of it that I could care less.
Why did these foods become scary?
You weren't supposed to have them.
Right, they're bad.
Absolutely. We put that emotion on them. Absolutely. And when you had that list of foods that are not good, they're bad foods, they really took over our minds and our emotions. We don't want that anymore.
I do think it makes a big difference for normally when you would diet, you clean out all your pantry. It's like, I can't have you get rid of all your chips, your candy and everything. Right. And like knowing you have it in your house. I have the same bag of potato chips, which I've had for a month.
Right.
But they're in there, and I can have them whenever I want.
Right.
But I'm like,
You're in charge.
Right.
But that makes a big difference with this. I think it really does.
Absolutely.
I surprise myself when I forget about things sometimes. Like, whoa. You know, like the brownie mix has been there for 10 months. Oh my God. You know, like it just surprises me that it's there and I forgot about it because usually when you think, don't you like get obsessive like about a cookie?
Right.
You know,
Right.
like I get obsessed. I have to have a cookie. I have
Because
to have a cookie.
if you had you couldn't have brownies, so you
Right.
really want brownies.
Right. So I forgot. That just freaks me out.
And this is how you can take those scary foods, they went through it in the book, and make them less scary, take the emotion away from them. So you choose your forbidden food and give yourself permission to really, 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 really want it.
They're really good.
Who was the one this morning who decided they really... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 reallys. So if I'm looking at, the Hershey's Kisses and I really, 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 really want it, I'm going to have it. It's my choice. I'm in charge of eating it. So what you're supposed to do is take a food that has that power over you and ask yourself, do I really, 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 really want it?
I remember you shared when you were traveling somewhere and you really wanted something sweet and you just took a few and threw the rest of the bag away. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God.
Some happy gear. There's some happy gear.
On a sticker high.
What's this weed?
Yes. Yes. So what you're supposed to do is if you have, let's say it's a single portion, and what's something that used to say was bad? Macaroni and cheese. So if if macaroni and cheese is bad, and we have all this emotion about it, you can make some, and you're obsessed with it, you can make a little bit of it, and, eat mindfully, without distractions. Really enjoy it. Take away the emotion of it. Know whether it tastes good as you imagined it. Most likely that Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Ugh.
Oh, stop. I love that stuff.
Do you really?
But I can't have it in my house because it's not
It's not kosher.
And I love macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
See, yeah.
But if
I
it
like
does,
my bad
promise
processed
yourself
food.
you can have it again when you want it. So if you eat it, you have the Kraft, and it really tastes fantastic, just know you can have it again at some point.
I
And
love
be
mac and
aware-
cheese, but with all the homemade, cheeses.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
One night. Go
Oh my
prepare
God,
it.
that would be so good.
But that's okay, and you can have that. You're not going to eat it every day, are you?
No.
No. Okay? So
Might be
be
first
aware of
day.
your little voice. Thoughts like, I shouldn't be doing this. I always binge when I eat this. Because now you're in charge. And you know it's safe to have it whenever you want. As long as you're mindful. And you're not scarfing down the whole thing. Because you don't need it. You're not enjoying it the way you used to. So what do you do when you're hungry? You want, you need, and you have. There you go. There you go. Let's see, I think that is it for that. All right, nutrition. The facts about fat. Is fat good or bad for you? So we're talking about fats. Fats play an important role in our body. Our bodies do need fats. It is not a demon anymore. You have natural fat. No one can have a body fat percentage of 0. You have fat surrounding your stomach muscles. You have fat, in between your muscles. There is a certain amount of fat that you must have. Girls who are gymnasts or people who are very, very thin, when you go down too low in body fat, you lose your menstrual cycle. So fat is not a demon. So, fat is the main storage form of energy, and your body doesn't want to give it up. You've got so much energy. It lubricates, insulates, and protects our organs. Transports vitamins. So again, fat-free diet, you're going to have deficiencies. It adds flavor and texture to food. I mean, those fat-free Entenmann's cakes, they had to add so much sugar to it. But I used to eat one a day because they were fat-free. No wonder I didn't lose any weight. This was in the 90s when they first came out. So they added a lot of sugar and a lot of chemicals.
Snackwell cookies.
Yeah. Fat is calorie dense, but no food is good or bad. So even though carbs and proteins have 4 calories per gram and fat has 9 calories per gram, so what? That's what adds the flavor.
Yes, it does.
And excess calories from any food is stored as body fat.
Butter.
So when you don't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon and your body has been starving, what's it going to say? Ooh, good, you're giving me protein, I'm going to store it as fat. It's a protective mode. And fat is satiating, so listen to your body to eat less. It's going to fill you up. So there's 2 types of fats. There's saturated, there's unsaturated. Now, in the unsaturated, there are saturated fats. It's basically made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. A saturated fat has no empty branches on it to bring it down to a real basic level. It's totally saturated like with hydrogens. It is solid at room temperature. Crisco.
Oh my
Lard.
God, I grew up on that stuff.
I know.
Oh.
You can't
My
make an apple
grandparents,
pie crust
they
without
baked
it.
everything
I
with
know.
that.
I know.
And it was delicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fabulous.
The unsaturated, we have mono unsaturated and polyunsaturated. Basically, it's how saturated the molecule is with hydrogens. We want to stay away from the saturated and have more of the unsaturated fats. Okay? So, they have you do this. Okay, hold up your fingers and explain that these are like rails on a railroad. Okay? They represent carbons on fat molecules. Now, hold up an index finger. You know what? I don't like this. This is stupid.
Never mind.
I like the way I said it. So the saturated ones, there's no empty branches. The unsaturated ones, there are empty branches. Okay? It's easier to break the bonds. All right?
So we want
The unsaturated.
unsaturated.
Correct. The saturated fats are the animal products and the tropical oils. So it's your meats, it's your cheeses, solid at room temperature, the animal fats, tropical oils, the coconut, the palm kernel, and cocoa butter. And they're associated with heart disease.
I thought coconut oil was good for you now.
That's what I say. Now they're pushing
They're
coconut.
pushing,
I
pushing,
know,
pushing
that's all I
coconut
hear
oil.
about.
How many of
But
you...
again,
Okay,
question where
it's-
the information comes
It's
from.
moderation. If I had to cook
Kills a lot.
if I had to make an apple pie now, would I use Crisco? No. I would use coconut oil. It's still at room temperature. but I would use that more because it's more natural than Crisco. Alright? It's a choice again. Do I use any of these oils during the day on a regular basis? No. I know people that do use coconut oil every day. Again, too extreme? No. Less than 7% of your diet should come from saturated fats, and I think we pretty much know that. So saturated fat is solid at room temperature and it sits in your arteries. We don't want that. Unsaturated fats. So we usually call these the good fats. Your oils, your fish, your nuts, and your avocado. You know, again, avocado is good, but do you want to have 3 or 4 of them a day, every day? Okay, nuts are good. Do you want to have those, you know, a full bag of almonds every day? No. Again, moderation. So they're liquid at room temperature. They are the healthy fats. Now you've got the monounsaturated fats, which are good. Your canola, your olive oil, and your peanut. I personally don't like any of those.
Me and olive oil are great friends.
I hate olive oil. I can't stand the smell of it. And then you have your polyunsaturated, which are coming from plants, which are your corn, your soybean, your cottonseed, safflower, sunflower, flaxseed, and sesame. So, you know, when you're cooking, you want to, you know, use more of these. I personally don't cook with any oil. I would rather just, you know, put a little water in it so it doesn't stick to the pan. But I try not to use any oils. I'll get my saturated fats from avocado and from fish and from omegas, the seeds, chia seeds. And fish, nuts, and avocado. So omega fatty acids, this is what we were talking about. They're a type of polyunsaturated fat. They lower the risk of heart disease, so these are good for you. They're essential and must be consumed. They cannot be made by your body. So these must be consumed, the omegas. So if you're not having fish or taking a fish supplement, you're not getting these omegas, which you need. And I get mine through chia seeds. Omega-3s, fatty fish, flaxseed, walnuts, soy. Omega-6s are in oils, nuts, and seeds. Ratio is important. Since we get plenty of omega-6s, you focus on the omega-3s. And that's what I do with the chia seeds. I love fish. Some people don't. But the chia seeds that I get have a lot of omega-3s in them.
So do you cook fish then, or? You
Tuna salad.
Oh, you just do
I
tuna?
make tuna salad, yeah. Or salmon salad. Yeah. Fast, quick,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cook. Trans fats, good or bad? Yeah, we do, you know, yes, good and bad. Hydrogenated oils turns healthy liquid unsaturated fat into healthy fat, into solid. These are the ones you really should stay away from. Unfortunately, they're in most processed foods.
But they taste so good.
They taste great. The food industry has done a great job of putting this in foods, and it doesn't spoil. That's why it can sit on the shelf forever. Those are the ones we got to be careful of. Really careful of. Then it gets into all the cholesterol. The happy is the high HDL and LDL. Now there's a lot of research going out about cholesterol levels. It is impacted by heredity. Like my mom, even though she was on cholesterol medication, she still had high cholesterol. My cholesterol level is high. My doctor knows that I have a history of it, but I did a heart scan. I have absolutely no plaque or blockage anywhere in my body. Therefore, I'm not on medication. There's more than just the number. And if your doctor isn't looking at your whole body and just putting you on medications, be careful, ask, how are my, how is my heart? How are my veins? How are my arteries? Are they clear? Are they not? What is the density of my cholesterol? What is the size of my cholesterol molecules? These are all things you can ask. Because every medication has a side effect. So reading labels is really important. It's good for comparing one food to the next, not making a choice if it's good or bad. Again, all foods fit. Balance, variety, and moderation. If you want to have the polysaturated, the trans fats, your choice. As long as you're making a choice and not just mindlessly eating. The Twinkies. Do you ever see how long a Twinkie can stay on a shelf? Oh my God.
At the end of the world, it will be the cockroaches eating.
It will be!
Have you ever seen that commercial?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So again, balance and moderation. Fat intake, 20 to 35% of your calories. Choose a variety. Limit your saturated. Eat more fish. Use less fat. Try new cooking methods. And lower fat doesn't necessarily mean low calorie. Like we were talking last week, I think about cheese. I use whole fat cheese. I don't need a lot, but it's much more satisfying, and it doesn't have the chemicals.
Don't mess with my cheese.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you do to improve the quality and quantity of fat you eat? What are some things you're going to do?
Read the labels.
Maybe stay away from the fully saturated fats.
I find if I'm not eating the bad fats, I tend not to eat the good fat. Like, if I'm not eating the greasy food, I don't cook with fat. I don't do a huge amount of nuts, so I need to make an effort to actually eat them.
No, because nuts have fat in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying, but like if I'm not doing the fast food or all
Yeah.
that crap, if I'm eating healthy, I don't put a lot of oil in my food, so
No.
I need to actively.
No, and do you really need to? No.
No.
Because no matter what, if you have, let's say, 10 calories over, and remember, we're not talking about calories, 10 calories over what your body needs today, it's going to be fat. Your body is really good at changing everything to fat. So, do we really have to, if we don't eat fast food, do we have to add fat to our diet?
I add fish oil to mine.
Okay. Fish oil, it can't wait.
Yeah, and I just, well, from little kid, cod liver oil every day. So I take it in a capsule twice a day.
Okay. Okay. And it's your choice.
Yeah.
All right, for the other part, flexibility. Okay, flexibility. Why bother with flexibility?
Because you need to tie your shoes.
Absolutely. And as we get more seasoned, since we don't say older, we need that little bit of oil in the, to get the hips going. All right, I am having a really bad hip problem today because I haven't been stretching my IT band or my hip. We've been doing a lot of hip hinge stuff in here. Every time I demonstrate, I'm working my muscles, but I'm not stretching it. So I'm having a problem.
And what's the best way to stretch the IT band again?
Well, I go on the styrofoam.
The styrofoam.
The other
And then-
one is
Yeah.
doing this one, where you sit like this, and then you push
Oh,
down.
okay. All right. Yeah, so I need to do that too.
Yeah, that's a real good one. So it decreases stiffness and tension, increases range of motion,
Yes, ma'am.
promotes blood flow and nutrient supply to tissues, reduces muscle soreness after exercise, prevents injury, improves posture and balance, decreases low back pain, and it feels good. Depending on where your problems are. Yeah. So how do you get started? Yeah. Okay, yeah. A lot of this warming up before stretching is really important. It used to be, you know, the runners would go out there and start stretching before they'd run. You're taking a cold muscle
Stretching.
and stretching it. Yeah, not good. You want to get the blood flowing before you stretch. Cold muscles don't stretch. It's like taking a piece of meat out of the freezer and trying to pound it. You know, you can't. It's gonna break. Okay? Hold the stretch, don't bounce. That's called a dynamic stretch. Listen to your body. And take deep breaths. On the TRX, ladies, remember I keep saying, on the exhale, get into the stretch more. Really important to just let your body totally stretch at the end. You should be stretching, 2 to 3 times a week. We don't do a lot of stretching in here. We do, 3 to 4 minutes at the end. I try and stretch the muscles that we worked. But you should be doing this at home. You should be stretching every single day as we get more mature. And yoga's really good, although I'm not a yoga fan. All right.
There's a kind of, I just saw a post, there's a kind of yoga I think they're doing in New York. I forgot what it's called, but it's not calming basically. Instead you're cursing when they're doing yoga instead.
Oh, cool.
When is it?
It was a post from a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And, no, it's in Canada, and someone came up with, they're doing yoga classes, but instead of being very relaxed, which for me doesn't suit my personality, instead you're kind of cursing.
So it's stress relief.
Yeah.
Stress relief.
I was like, I would do that class.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yoga is great. People who love yoga, I think it's wonderful. Should I do yoga? Probably. But if I'm going to work out, I want to get my heart rate up, and I know people get their heart rate up in yoga. I want to be moving. I want to be dancing. This is too slow for me, so I know what I like and what I don't like. I would love to have yoga here one day. So, yeah. So your action plan for next week, read the next chapter. Next week I think is our discussion group.
Yeah.
So the next time we meet, make sure you read chapter 6 and really practice all the things that you've been learning. Because the only way you're going to get better and not have all the questions is, again, we got to get that car started. The hardest thing is getting the car started to move. Once you get used to it, it's going to be much easier. And it's going to be hard for the first month or so for you.
Right.
Sure, one other thing I was thinking too, like with the cookies and, anything like that, I put them on a plate. You know how when you, see, because it didn't count if I just eat it out the bag, and I don't realize what I've eaten out the bag. But if I put them on the plate, if I put 3 cookies on the plate, and I'm aware and knowledgeable that I have eaten 3 cookies, because like I said, when I'm pulling them out of the bag, I can eat 8 of them,
Absolutely.
and
It's
I
mindless.
haven't eaten any
Right.
because they didn't count. I didn't see them.
Right, and then it's individual serving, once again, you get paid a little bit more, but you get them either, you put them in your little snack bags or you buy them already, so you actually know what you're eating. If
So
you're gonna
we're
make
talking about
choices.
preparation,
Right.
both of you, and also being mindful. Having the whole bag there isn't going to happen. Any other questions before you go adios?
I won't be here for the March 27th. I'll be out of town, so
Enjoy yourself.
We'll have it on video.
thanks. With my grandkids. So
Yay!
Oh, very good.
Nice job, ladies.
Thanks, Sharon.
Nice job,
Wonderful.
Sharon.
Nice job, Sharon.